Bheki Cele has been singing in the Ad Hoc Committee because, yeah, what is your view?
No, my view is he's not singing anything. Ndozi is just talking reality. And it has become normal to South Africans that they have a lying president. It has become normal. In another country, this type of lies would have caused the president to be impeached. In our country, he stays there. He even appoints commissions to go and seek the truth when he cannot talk and tell the truth. It's interesting.
It is ludicrous to take Hangwani's things once you don't arrest him. It's crazy. You are crazy. Take assets of Hangwani, put him in jail, and make him sing.
As a person speaks in prison with a cell phone, you take it at 11 o'clock. Come, you search the cell at 11 o'clock. At 12:30, the guy is having a similar cell phone and is talking again. Yeah. Who is bringing it in? Because this guy can't go home to collect one.
Then there is in the Madanga an envelope for the prosecutor, an envelope for the police, and an envelope for the magistrate. These envelopes, that has become a norm. You know, we all know people are buying cases, have been buying cases.
Sure.
And nothing has been done about it.
The difference now is that the cases are not bought by the state, they are bought by the people. During apartheid, cases were swallowed by the state and not by the people. Currently, our people have decided to be corrupt. Look, let's without defending the judiciary, without defending MP and defending the police. For the police to be corrupt, they must be approached by the corrupt.
Welcome back to the Radical Conversation, and Selepe, beautiful day.
It is, thank you. And let's take this opportunity to greet the viewers.
And also apologize for the quality of the last episode in terms of darkness. It is important that we correct some of these things, but we are definitely getting there.
We are.
Yeah, we are getting there. The sound quality and the technicality becomes important because it becomes crucial. The people that we are competing with are highly resourced.
Very good.
Highly resourced. They've got their in-house studios and equipment and all that. So that is not an excuse because we must be on par. One of the things that irritate a viewer, listener, is when something is irritable, like quality of the sound or the quality of the picture.
Sure.
It becomes a turn-off. And in any way, if we go back and look into a week that we come away from,
sure,
Ndosi, I don't know whether it is right to say Bheki Cele has been singing in the Ad Hoc Committee because, yeah, what is your view?
No, my view is he's not singing anything. Ndozi is just talking reality. And reality is reality. It is reality that South Africa is where it is. It is reality that institutions that were used or that are used to deal with certain issues of the community have been destroyed. I mean, what do we say about the Tembisa Hospital?
Yes.
Me and you discuss the issue of the security of this country, where we get told that Hangwani Maumela stays in and around the president's place of residence, and the president does not even know who is his neighbors. What type of security is that on the head of state? we can't be saying those things at this level. We can't.
Very true, but it's also an exposure that some people are just doing that. Speaking of which, that is the president, when he started, he said he does not know him. And then fast forward, he knows him. At one stage, he went in to greet his mother. How the president lies with a straight face.
And it has become normal to South Africans that they have a lying president. It has become normal. In another country, this type of lies would have caused the president to be impeached. In our country, he stays there. He even appoints commissions to go and seek the truth when he cannot talk and tell the truth. It's interesting.
Let's go back to Ndosi then. You say Ndosi has not been singing.
Look, for me, Ndosi has been saying, he has not started saying these things now. Ndosi raised the issue of judiciary while he was still a minister. And he gave specific examples about cases that were investigated by these people that of KZN. And he asked fundamental questions. You have the South African Police Services that is monitored by IPIT. You have the Hawks that has a judge appointed who monitors the actions of IDEC. How do we create an institution when other law enforcement institutions have somebody, an ombudsman, who they report to, or not necessarily who they report to, but who monitors their behavior? And then while we have this experience, we then develop another one that does not have the same thing. What are we saying in this country?
Are we then saying that we have an institution that is not covered, an institution that is not backed up, an institution like we are talking about the judiciary and other institutions that are there?
Yeah, but let us also be honest as South Africans. Who does the judiciary account to?
What is the role of the JSC?
The role of the JSC is when you lay a complaint. When you lay a complaint, the JSC brings the judge, assesses the complaint, brings the judge, and they set up a tribunal. But I'm saying there are allegations against a deputy chief justice of there are complaints. And here's my worry. We instead of saying you are suspended, we approach him to go for leave. And I'm saying what appeared or what happened to Sibia should happen to the judge. That's when you have a decisive country. And without decisive, if there's anything that steals progress, is indecisiveness.
I remember at one stage we were talking about the Constitutional Court to say to whom does the Constitutional Court report to?
And because people said
they have become law unto themselves.
Yeah, and people said they are held accountable by the Constitution. I'm saying the Constitution is just a document that needs interpretation. So the guys who interpret it, they don't have accountability session. Yet the people who are voted into power have got their account to them, to the Constitution.
Now so you are in agreement with those to say until these things get to be. Now let's compare the two. Bheki Cele, in terms of them understanding their work.
No, Bheki Cele has got an advantage of being a former national commissioner. So when you are a former national commissioner and you suddenly become a minister, you know the role of the accounting officer and the role of political oversight. You don't confuse the two. And I'm not saying Kunu does not know, but I'm saying the processes that, you see, our government has got politicians that do not subject themselves to a process. And for as long as you are a leader of an institution and you do not subject yourself to a process, you are missing the point. You cannot take this institution anywhere. What is the process? Ndosi explains the process. Interministerial committee set up by the president. And then the interministerial committee sets up a provincial task team. And they recommend that it be set up. And now, here's the line. The interministerial committee says to the line function managers and accounting officers, set up a structure. They set up a structure. What does that say? These people that are here cannot terminate the services of this structure unless they consult with these ones. These ones are political oversight, but when it comes to operational issues, they need to. So both of them, forget a little bit about the president, both of these, the operational guys and the politicians must have sat together and say, this thing is not policy, but it was an intervention. Is it necessary? Does it still serve a purpose? If the answer is yes, then let's continue. Do we need to, because of the lack of resources, do we need to expand its functions? If we need, yes, by where are we taking it? So that you then, therefore, do not lose the experience that this team together has built, because they build an experience. Now, it's like a team. Let's take football. I love to give the example of football. You have a coach that comes in at Orlando Pirates. He changes for the sake of change. What happens to Pirates? They lose 2 consecutive matches. And the supporters, who are stakeholders who pay these players, because these players, the impression that we create is that the players are paid by sponsorship. Not only sponsorship, the people who go to the stadium are paying these people. Now they say to us, but why are you putting Bogazi outside and when we need him inside? And then the coach does what? He listens. Where is Pirates now? A better team. So I'm saying the same happened to Cardoso. So I'm saying there's a partnership of creating the PKTT. That partnership is between the IMC and the operational people. And those must come together. It's a process. It's called the process. So Ndozi is addressing the process. But is Mkhunu wrong? By standards of the ANC, Mkhunu is not wrong.
I pray that today we don't talk about the ANC.
No, we can't.
Yes.
By standards of the ANC, Mkhunu is not wrong. And let me tell you why I'm saying that. When Mkhunu was presenting, the Patriotic Alliance says they agree with Mkhunu, that he needed to take the money from this to that. I don't have a qualm with that. No qualms with that. The ANC asks questions, particularly this lady. I think her name is Diko. This lady, when she asks questions, you get an impression that she tries to cover up. She's not open. Now, and then you've got the rest of the people trying to say, okay, but this is what we understand. This is where we are heading. Now, by standards of the ANC, when Mkhunu presented, the ANC did not see anything wrong with what he's saying. There's only one guy in the ANC who was questioning this guy who saw something wrong. Or let me say maybe 2, even including the chief whip. Yeah, they saw something wrong. But the rest of the ANC, including the chairperson of the committee, does not see anything wrong. I can tell you now. Because I can assess the questions that they ask. I can assess how they deal with objections. So it becomes obvious.
Now, what becomes according to you, here are both Mkhunu and Dosi in their interpretation of the laws and everything. Your view.
No,
if you were president of the country, given what has been said, would you get rid of him?
I don't need to be a president of the country. I need to be Mkhunu who's honest. What does honesty tell you? Honesty says, I've given a presentation against the presentation of people who came first. Did my presentation sway? When you look at the faces of the people that you're presenting to, did it sway their idea of the truth? You are 50-50, say, I know it's fine. Then Dozi comes. When he presents,
he rubbishes everything.
He rubbishes everything. And his presentation supports the view of the first 2 witnesses. Now, when you are a leader, an honest leader, you phone the president. Say, President, before I even go to Madlanga Commission, I'm yet to present there. Before I even go to Madlanga Commission. Because what is the challenge when you are a witness? You cannot change the statement. Because you will purge yourself, it will be perjured. So he can't change the statement. He can withdraw certain facts that he said, like Mkhwanazi is doing. But he cannot withdraw. He cannot change the statement and say something. Now, what are the temptations? If you are a witness, you have testified in this. The ability to maintain the same consistency is there. And already 80% of your testimony has been proven to be lies. If I was him and a true leader of the ANC, I would have phoned the president. Say, President, I'm no more on suspension. Can I quit?
Resign.
Yeah, I'm writing you a letter. And let me go to Madlanga Commission and do justice to it and say what I've already said. But when I look at what is happening in front of me and I consult with my legal team, I'm convinced I have to go.
Then there was an explanation from Dozy in relations to what Mtune has said. Is Dozy wrong? I remember I sent you his clip.
Ndlozi, Dr. Ndlozi. Now, Dr. Ndlozi, the less I comment about Dr. Ndlozi, the more comfortable I feel, because the moment you comment about Mr. Dr. Ndlozi, people say you are an EFF man. You see, but
we are coming to. I remember. Wait.
Yeah.
So you've got nothing to say about Dr. Ndlozi.
Honestly speaking, how do you fault Ndlozi?
Okay.
With his views, how do you?
Okay. Now, how do you also explain? Speaking of the EFF, the EIC had to excuse himself during the severe thing, and things are coming out of him being seen in that boutique hotel with the Boshiburis, the Sibias, and the likes. What impression is this giving? I know and we know that he has a right to association.
He has a right to associate. But when you are a leader, unless you claim ignorance,
yes.
And let me put it out there for people who have this belief of EFF. When you are a leader of a political party, whether you are in government or you are not in government, you have some kind of influence.
Yes.
Let me start this thing here. Malema originally comes from the ANC. How many ANC people that are within the ANC does Malema still have influence over? A lot. So Malema has some kind of influence. So his association must say that. Let me take you back and show you where my gist with him is. Cele comes, they say, do you speak to Matlala? He says yes. He doesn't wait for exposure. He says yes. How many meetings? 2 or 3. Did you sleep at his place? He says yes. Then he says, because ANC politicians are arrogant. Then he says, which is a sin of arrogance. Then he says, I'm no more in government. Therefore, I can take what Matlala gives me. He's saying to South Africans, there's nothing wrong morally to associate with a known criminal.
Or is also saying, I knew that I was going to leave as a Minister of Police. Make sure that he gets a tender, and when I'm outside government, I'll get my thing.
You see, these are the things, these are the parallels that people are forced to draw because of arrogance. You know, you get confronted about this thing of Matlala, you are Cele, you say yes. Had I known better, you know, I suspected, but had I known better, I wouldn't have accepted these things. You don't therefore say, I'm no more in government. So when you are in government, you're not a politician.
Let's go back to Julius.
The same things applies to Julius. He took a very good decision by not coming and conflicting himself and then get caught. But here's what Julius didn't do that Cele did. Julius didn't openly say, I was once in this hotel. I met these guys. They called me there. This was the purpose of the meeting. It was an innocent meeting. Little did I know that they were criminals. Now, in his interaction with Cele insinuates jokingly so, but it's not a joke in politics. He says, but who's Baluakwe? Now, Matlala, surname is Matlala. Julia's wife's surname is Matlala, his maiden name is Matlala. So when he says who's Baluakwe, he's insinuating that you being seen there has got these connotations. You understand? Yes. Now, this is where our politicians must stop their arrogance and taking us to be gullible. They must sit down and say, this is my mistakes. I associated with these people. Let me put it out there. I do not know your business partners, right? Yes. When I was a station commander, and I did not know your business partners, and only to find that in the meeting that you have as a business person, you called me to say, no, I want to introduce you to my close circle. And then I find a leader of a gang. I know this thing will not end here. So when there's a commission, I must be upfront. Yes. To say, no. Even myself, I found myself in this situation. But it was an honest meeting. I was called to that. They can testify to my account. Now, if you're not doing that, you leave us an opportunity to make and complete and put the dots together. And when the dots are together, you want to come and explain. So Julius has got a lot to explain. And Julius, the EFF is not performing particularly well. And it was an opportunity of them coming clean. They can't be clean now.
Would you agree with me that when Mkhwanazi was to go there, Julius looked and sounded irritated, and he made some comments. Then that made one. Myself, I was like, what is wrong with Julius? He seems like he does not like Mkhwanazi. Or was he aware that this was going to lead to expose some of these things?
I want to believe that, like any other individual in South Africa, Julius has a temperament problem. His emotional intelligence is very weak. And when you lead, you do not have emotional intelligence. The challenge with you is that you become emotional, you say things that you are not supposed to say. One of the things that he said is that Mkhwanazi can't create this mess. Mkhwanazi did not create a mess. Mkhwanazi saved the country. So, but Julius was saying, he addressed what he perceived to be non-availability of Mkhwanazi, or Mkhwanazi now withdrawing from the processes that he shouldn't have withdrawn from. But Mkhwanazi didn't say that. But when you best as a leader, you know one thing about Ramaphosa that I like? One thing, this is the only thing that I like, besides his lying and also, there's one thing that I like. He's calm under pressure. He smiles under pressure. Zuma smiles under pressure. Bheki breaks under pressure. Mandela smiles under pressure. So I'm saying to you, he should.
Helen Zille breaks under pressure.
Sure. So Helen Zille, of course, what would a racist, let me not say a racist, what would a supremacist think when he gets interviewed by a black person? His first ideology is that this one is not intelligent. But the moment you ask him intelligent questions, he breaks under pressure. That's what they do. Now, because he's a supremacist. Now, Malema has a tendency of breaking, and he's a pathological emotional breaker. He breaks without any.
Doesn't that count in leadership? That when you are a leader, you need to be calm no matter what people are saying. You don't throw tantrums.
Exactly. You remember we addressed this issue of Malema sometimes back, about 20 episodes back. We said he needs to sit down and behave like a statesman. You cannot want to become a head coach when you fail to score as a striker. So he needs to improve. He needs to improve on that. And it's a challenge that we need to to continue to build. The same thing happens with all of them. You know, we currently are left now with the leader of BOSA, but also under pressure, my money breaks. And this seems to be the problem of the new leaders that we hope can bring something.
The new breed.
The new breed of leaders. They seem to be bringing a certain level of arrogance that makes them make mistakes that are uncalled for. Mashaba is old.
Does he break?
He breaks because he's not necessarily a stammerer, but under pressure he stammers.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the Matlala Commission.
Sure.
There was A, there was B, there was C who came. In the things that maybe before we go there, what we spoke about these judges. There's a black judge, there's a white judge, and it is said the Ledwaba received 2.5 million to give KT Molefe bail. How brave are these judges, and what does it say about our country?
I want to believe that Ledwaba didn't do it. Yeah? But you know, judges are part of a leadership collective in the country. Remember, we are a constitutional country. So the judges are part of the other leg of leadership that we have in the country. But they are sourced from a particular community. In that community, whenever you go up, you then become arrogant and not submissive. So the fact that Ledwaba, people can say what they say about him. And remember, people say they had information. They were told that a judge, they didn't say Ledwaba, a judge will give him bail at a particular amount, and then he will walk scot-free. Did it happen?
Yes.
They said a judge. They didn't say a magistrate. They said a judge. And the people who testify are people who know court processes. So they will never mix a magistrate and a judge. So they knew that it was a judge. And he got bail.
It's like the victim A was saying that he was told that, listen, you must know that this person is going to this court, and when he gets into that court, he's going to get bail and it's going to come for you.
Exactly.
And that is what KT Molefe has exactly done.
Exactly.
And this is the another route.
And the most unfortunate part of it, it falls within Ledwaba's lap.
But there's another white guy who also did the same, who's handling a Cat Matlala. Alexander refuses bail, then they appeal. They know when they go appeal, the judge will agree.
But let me tell you, we might be shocked Matlala might not get bail. You see, the judgment is reserved. They are not stupid, these judges. They want to see what is the backlash. If the backlash to this one is suspend, this one will not make that mistake.
Because of fear of suspension.
Because of fear of exposure.
Of fear of being investigated.
Sure. And skeleton being found. So he will not. That is why they handle these cases. You see, you must understand. There's North Gauteng High Court and the South Gauteng High Court. You can approach either of them, but they all approach North Gauteng High Court. It's not a jurisdiction issue. It's not. It's a simple way. Let me give you another example about the judges. And I'm not insinuating anything. The DA will never launch, including its subsidiaries. Who are the subsidiaries of the DA? Your Aorta, your Judge Krichla, those people, they will never approach any court except Western Cape High Court.
Because it's where their people are.
It's where their people are. It's where they get easy. And the fight of removing Selepe from that of impeaching Selepe was that Selepe could have become a stumbling block to these issues. So they look at being receptive. They will never easily go to Free State High Court. They will not come to Northwest High Court. Even the DA of Northwest, if it has a challenge with something, they'll go to Western Cape High Court.
They go to their people.
Yeah. So, if we have to put the dots together, I would investigate the whole bench of North Gauteng High Court. The whole series of judges. I would investigate the court itself. From the clerk of the court to...
But we spoke about police, we spoke about magistrate and judges. What's your view about the NPA? Patoi, as she's leaving, she says, it's been very unfortunate to work with Ramaphosa and his administration, given the challenges. Prosecutors are looking like they're not doing their job in South Africa, and cases are thrown out. What must be done?
There are two aspects, including the police. There are two aspects that I think our country needs to look at. It should not be easy to sue the state. We've made it too easy to sue the state. And therefore, a policeman can hide behind a lawsuit to say, I'm afraid to be sued, when he's afraid to make a decision in the best interest of the community. The NPA hides behind a lawsuit that they call malicious prosecution. Now they hide behind that because it is easy, it has been made easy by the lawmaker to sue them on behalf of the state. In fact, it is not only made easy, it is actually, it has been our argument outside the circles that the state attorney is part of the problem. And the state attorney's office is designed to defend the actions of the police and the actions of the prosecution. But I'm not so sure about the state attorney, whether they are doing what they are supposed to do. I'm not so sure. So I'm saying to you, we discussed this thing, some 24 episodes in the past, where we said, why is it that a person in South Africa is called state versus Selepe and not Selepe versus the people of South Africa?
I remember that discussion.
So that Batoyi knows he's not representing the state.
He's representing the people.
He's representing the people of South Africa. When the prosecutor puts up a gown and appears in court, he must understand that I am the lawyer of the people. And I have no any other interest except to defend the rights of the people. So our prosecutors are not defending the rights of the people. They are defending the right of not being sued.
So they're playing it safe.
They're playing it safe. Sometimes at your expense. A lawyer says to a prosecutor, I will show that Selepe is lying. And the prosecutor says, and Selepe is my key witness. He says, I'm not approaching this case when my whole evidence depends on Selepe. What do we then do? He says, I would rather provisionally withdraw the case and look at the investigation. Even though Selepe's statement is convincing, and as a witness, he has got no reason to lie. But because there's no corroborating evidence that is strong, I would therefore choose to say no prima facie evidence and walk away from this case.
Then there is in the Madanga an envelope for the prosecutor, an envelope for the police, and an envelope for the magistrate. These envelopes, that has become a norm. There's like we all know people are buying cases, have been buying cases.
Sure.
And nothing has been done about
The difference now is that the cases are not bought by the state, they are bought by the people. During apartheid, cases were swallowed by the state and not by the people. Currently, our people have decided to be corrupt. Look, let's without defending the judiciary, without defending NPA and defending the police. For the police to be corrupt, they must be approached by the corrupt.
And let's not forget the correctional services.
Sure.
As a corrupt.
Yeah.
And nobody's saying anything about it.
None of those he said about it. He said, as a person speaks in prison with a cell phone, you take it at 11 o'clock. Come, you search the cell at 11 o'clock. At 12:30, the guy is having a similar cell phone and he's talking again. Yeah. Who is bringing it in? Because this guy can't go home to collect one.
The correctional service personnel.
But what makes the correctional services corrupt? What makes the police corrupt? What makes the judiciary corrupt? They are being approached by a corrupt society. And we need to deal with society. The only person who is safe in this country is a guy without money because he can't corrupt anybody. But any other person who can borrow money from the bank, who can make a loan, who can access money, has a potential of being corrupted.
What is the solution? Where are we taking this country?
I was saying to a friend of mine that we speak together. I think we are at a point where I'm not so sure whether I will succeed saying this thing. But without saying what I wanted to say, let me take you back in Africa. You have a soldier running Burkina Faso who suspended the constitution. He runs Burkina Faso. And then he says to judges, if I were to learn that you are corrupt, I will put you in jail. What do you think the judges are going to do?
Sure.
And then he says to the police, if you are corrupt, I'll put you in jail. And he says to correctional services, if cell phones walk into you lose your job. Now he's a soldier, né? He's not a president. Traore is not a president. He's a soldier.
He's an acting president.
He's not even acting. Because when you act, you must be appointed by somebody, self-appointed. And he tells people that I'm not the president of this country. I'm taking this country towards a particular goal. And once that goal comes, I'll walk away. We hold him to that weight, that he will walk away. But let's ask a question. When he walks away, he brings back the same thing that will take the country backward. He's bringing the constitution, he's bringing elections, he's bringing democracy. And when democracy is in action, the most democratic state in Africa is South Africa.
Are you then saying?
I'm not saying what you think I'm saying.
That is like, are you saying generals in the forces are tired of these politicians, to be frank and honest? And these generals, if they could say, coup d'etat, we are taking over this country and we will bring it back after 5 years, but we want to sort some things and correct things, a lot of things would happen.
Yes, a lot of things would happen.
And then two, before you, I want you, when you answer, you must answer also the statement that I'm going to say. We have agreed to be a democratic state. And in the process, this democracy, it's killing us. It's not taking us to where we're supposed to go. But what methodology or method can we use to run smoothly?
Okay. I was hopeful before the Ad Hoc Committee that this guy of PA, not Mackenzie. Mackenzie is at 26. I'm not going to talk about Mackenzie at 26 or 28.
Which one of PA?
Yeah. I'm not.
Oh, Souls.
Yeah. Souls.
Yes, Souls.
I had.
Oh, you change your face when you speak of Souls. This is nice.
You see, people must understand me. Yeah. I'm a talent searcher. Okay. So I see talent. It's not only Souls that made my heart warm when I talk about him. This guy who was in PA and went to
I see him.
Jacobs.
Yes.
He blesses me. Now, if you take him, you take Bondros, You take Maimana. We have a crop of people who has the capacity to set things right in our country. The problem is that they are being led, not only them. We might not like currently the truth that is being told by the president of the ANC Youth League. We might not like that truth. But with the right grooming, he must get out of these old people that are corrupt. They must go. They must go and leave these young people. And these young people must say on their own, let's identify so and so and so and so and so and so. Let's bring them in for experience purposes in order to run a state. I think there's hope once that happens. And how does that happen? We bring the ANC down to 10%, and we give 10% to each and every political party. We force them to talk to one another.
But they will rig elections, like ZANU-PF is rigging. They will rig the elections.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, but look, you can rig the elections. If the ANC wanted to rig the election, they would have received 51%.
They tried.
They tried. It didn't work.
No, remember, this statement is unfortunate, but it's the truth. Remember, there was a meeting before the elections, and it was known that this is how the outcome. You know, if you want to see the tone, if you want to see how the tone is set in South Africa, they'll talk to you about researchers. They're preparing our minds. Research survey says, survey this.
I agree with you 100%. That's why Meridi Haas was responsible to disband and disestablish a PKTT. She was alone responsible. Forget me true. She was alone. That white woman alone took the parliament and the cabinet and shoved them one side and destroyed a unit or a task team.
Trying to destroy a unit.
Let me tell you what is human beings. When a human being hits a pothole, his vigor is no more the same. For these witness A, B, and C to return to their normality, because this pothole that they hit was very big. It is a pothole that sends them away from their families to be in a safe house. They are guarded by police who can be bored themselves.
Who can kill them?
Who can kill them themselves. So that's a big pothole. And their performance will not be the same.
True.
Right. So I'm saying to you, if you rig elections to a level of where people say, but it can't be correct, be careful that you might be bringing this country to a serious uprising. It will uprise.
But it's gonna get there. Am I lying?
It's slowly getting there.
Now let's go back to what you earlier said, and I allowed you to speak of this thing. You spoke about the leaders of young people. The demographics of South Africa shows women and youth as many people. So it means the youth of this country can set the tone of where the country is going by also changing the politics of the country.
The fact that they have not yet set the tone tells us that our leaders are absorbed by the image of they cannot get out of the trousers of their fathers, and it's time that they must get out of the pockets of their fathers and stand on their own. The fact that you still have Ndlela as a spokesperson of an 84-year-old is worrying. It's worrying with his capacity of thinking. It's worrying. The fact that you have Brian Molefe with 3 degrees being led by a standard 2, 84-year-old or 94-year-old person, it tells you there's a problem about Molefe. And Molefe is not old. He's not old. No, those are the young people whose future who the future of this country depends on. Ronar Fedide, if you were to call me, currently when I was coming here, I was already having a problem with my sugar. So if you call me to these serious things, I may not be able to survive 3 weeks. Therefore, you need younger people to come on board, and we need to be honest and free to say these things without a fear of a doubt. To say even God has never invested in a person above the age of 40. If by 40 years you have not brought anything, Malema is 43 or is 44 this year. He must be worried. He's moving the wrong side of 40. He's moving the wrong side of 40. My man is 40 something, maybe 45, 46. He's also on the wrong side of 40. So they need to start this local government election, the people that they filled to municipalities. We cannot, and I'm openly saying it, Matlala is young. Matlala is young. He can't come in as a mayor, and in his hands, Matlosana can give service delivery.
It's not giving service delivery.
It is dying in his hands. He must sit down. And I'm being honest and brutally honest. And I'm saying this not because I hate him, but because I love him as a brother. To say, when you come in, make sure that you owe nobody nothing. And you come here, you deal with issues that you need to deal with. If you have to, in the process of dealing with issues, Selepe is on the way, take Selepe out. And be supported.
If you want us to talk of politics of Matlosana in passing, they had an fruitful expenditure that has doubled. It was 3 billion or 4 billion. It has gone to 11 billion. And the parliament, the provincial parliament was here to get to understand things that are happening and all that. Contractors are paid double amounts, double payments and all this. It says that the center does not hold.
It says the center does not hold. But when you walk in and you find people who are already there, nobody in government walks in and appoints new leaders. You find leaders there. And here's what I say, and I will continue to say to anybody. If you walk into an institution as a leader, be good enough to lead those that put you there and those that oppose you. So that when they sit there, they are not able to say, but we can hold on to this. You must be clean in your administration. If you need to suspend Selepe, you draft the document, it goes to the council, Selepe gets suspended, he stays outside. You suspend Selepe while he's driving with you in the Fortuna to go and eat at Nando's. When you sit at Nando's, you say, Chief, how are you? No, I'm cool. I have to give you this letter. Are you suspending me? Yeah, on behalf of the people of Matlosana. We're investigating this. And that's leadership.
What is your take, Selepe, on the most unfortunate thing amongst us black people? Ignorance.
That is it's a big business. It's a big business. Ignorance in Africa and in blacks, it's big business.
Is it not a system?
No, it comes from a system. If you make people believe that the education that you give them is inferior, you push them to a point where they ignore information as a process of life. You develop them. Then later on, you open the education system that you have tempered so much to produce exactly the same person that you produced without the proper education. Now, our people ignore, if you want to put information away from the black people, you put it in writing. And black people are not ready to read. If you are not ready to read for purpose of information and knowledge, it is impossible to run a progressive institution.
But how do we deal with these things? Because now week in, week out, we talk about the system, we talk about the problems amongst the black people, we talk about the flaws in the ANC, in the leadership and everything. What must be done to change this thing? I'll tell you why I'm raising this. It is maybe somewhere we need to call meetings amongst young people and instill in them things. Call meetings amongst women and children. Call meetings and be able to say, we need to change the way we do things because we've been doing things the same and the results have always been coming out the same.
Exactly. No, we need to do that. It's a critical point. Our country is a ticking time bomb. And we need to get the youth to start to think differently. A soldier without a proper political clouding is an askari in waiting. And the youth are soldiers without guns, with brains. They are soldiers with brains. Without proper political clouding of those brains, we are done. Let me give you an example. In the past, this ANC had a school of politics. Yeah, but how do you then say Kgalema Motlanthe must come and train people who he tells that the ANC must first drop? It's a problem. So I'm saying that school of politics is a problem. Now, does EFF have the school of politics? Now, our country needs that. It needs schooling. Our country needs to understand the following. One, that politics don't set a country free. But economics sets a country completely free. Right? What do I mean by that? Apartheid was not a political decision, although it was taken by politicians. It was economics. Colonization, when they sat in Brazil and they divided Africa into 54 countries, and they divided these things to say, you'll take that half, I'll take this half, I'll take that half. They were not talking politics, they were talking economics. When they took slaves from Africa to go and build Europe and leave Africa without men that could build, and remember, slaves were not ordinary people that you get in the street. They took the brains of the country away. Yeah, they took the brains and enslaved the brains. Now, whatever men or women that remained behind, they could not bring a country out of its quagmire. All right? Now, that was economics. That's how economics work. Now, we don't need people to go and study politics in university. We need people to study the right economics. You will not get them in vets.
We are a people that goes to school, finish after 12 years, we go 3 years in university. We are the same people that cannot make their own bread that we eat.
Sure.
We are the same people that cannot make the same sugar that we use every day. We are the same people that does not even own an egg poultry business. And as a result, for as long as we are not doing any of these things, we will not survive.
But that's why I'm saying we are politicized. And in our politicization, we failed to be economics. Because we were not worse off than Japan. We were not worse off. But Japan overtook us.
But all this is because of leadership.
All of this is not only because of leadership, it's because Japan did not study politics, they studied economics, which emancipated the country. It's economics.
But there is the same. The books of economics today, you go into a lecture room that tells you how to be a millionaire. But if you ask a lecturer, are you a millionaire?
He says no. That's why I'm saying, even when we compile the study of economics, where do we go?
To the West.
That's our problem. You want to be a rich country. Where do you go? You go to Switzerland. Because Switzerland is rich. Right? You don't go to China because China started where you are. You go to Switzerland. Now China has overtaken Switzerland. You don't go to Japan. You go to America. You become a friend of the Americans. You even go to a point where you beg the president of America. Right? America was built by your own slaves. Japan has got no black slaves that built Japan. China has got no black slaves that built China. It was built by the Chinese. Japan was built by the Japanese. But you go to a country that was built
because you're inferior, because you're full, because they're your masters, because you're in covenant with them.
That's exactly where our problem is. And I'm saying to you, I'm still repeating it. Here's a soldier. He wakes up, he says, he does not talk big language. He does not talk their language, big English, or beneficiation, that's big English. He says, no mineral will go out of Burkina Faso as is.
The new president of Malawi has taken that stand.
Not only that, the new president of Namibia has taken that stand.
And the president in Botswana is taking
that same stand. Now, what does that tell you?
Our cowards cannot take that stand.
You cannot take that stand if you back Helen Zille to be part of you, because Helen Zille defends white people. You can't. You can't. So Burkina Faso took a lead. A soldier who does not have a degree in economics, who sees, and I'm saying and I'm repeating this for leadership at all levels of government. I'm saying, be angry enough about the conditions of black people. They will make you a better leader. The moment you become complacent, which is what the system does with us. When now we get money, where do we go? We move out of the township to a town. Why? Suddenly, the condition in a township, they make us angry, but angry enough to walk away. They must make us angry enough to stay.
No, but the same township that you want to develop, when you go there and you want to develop it, they demand 80% of what they do not know.
But you've got them.
No, you've got a group of young people who are lazy in the townships, who are acting like, who are given permission by the politicians to behave that way.
That's why I'm saying we made them.
Then we need to change that for township to begin to, because remember, the same gangs in townships are gatekeepers
of politicians
and gatekeepers of corrupt business.
Sure.
These Pakistanis and the likes, they are protecting them.
Sure. And that's where I'm saying our influence should start. The youth that have not reacted now and are out of school, they're in university, they can never react. We need to influence the youth that are in primary to see themselves in a different light. Only then, and it will take us 10 to 15 years to really transform and change the situation to be a different situation. So I'm saying to us, is there still hope? Yes, if we act and we act quickly.
Hope can only come the moment we change and begin to own the media that influences how people think.
Maybe we don't even need to own the media that much. Sometimes, but once we are two cowards. We are a coward. You are an editor. Why do you toe the line? If this guy dismisses you, you go out there and tell them, this newspaper dismissed me because they wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from me, and I cannot do it.
But you are in their territory, that is level.
You could be. But when you walk away, do you have a plan of starting your own media house? And we do not have people in the Malungane who are ready to start media houses. We do not have.
We do. And Selepe, I would say to you, one of the things that I want to say to our fellow blacks, also between me and you, I always say it is ludicrous for us to take our kids to university. And when these kids come from university, they're going to work or beg jobs in other people's companies.
In a sense that we really as a country need to move in a different way than we are moving now. We need to move in a different way than we are moving now. And we can only do that provided that we know from where to where are we moving. The youth of today needs to get out of taverns. But we need to capture their brains to get out of the tavern, because they've got nothing to walk away from a tavern to.
But it is also because of lack of, every nationality has elders.
Sure.
Who guides them, who guides the young people.
Yeah.
We've got elders that are able to identify talent, sure, and be able to channel and harness this talent to the right path.
Sure.
We do not have that.
We don't have that.
And therefore we need to start to create that.
We need to start to create a pool, yes, of those type of people. And for us, there's a debate that we need to maybe have sometimes, where we talk about politics and religion. We spoke about politics and spirits. We need to talk about politics and religion. How religion made us wait for somebody outside us to help us. Because religion is organized. When it teaches you to wait for somebody else, it's teaching 50% of the country. So 50% of the country is waiting for salvation. Yet the Jews, from the same Bible that we read, came out rich. The Muslims reading the same Quran that makes us wait come out rich. With the same salvation, same principles. So somewhere, our manufacturing of people is very wrong. Very, very wrong. And we need to deal with those without fear of contradiction.
But remember also that if you want to control the people, you choose scriptures that they must read. And they must interpret for the people. Exactly. And you leave out these important ones.
Exactly.
We always say black people in the issues of faith or religion, they go for salvation, but they do not go for survival. The most important things that are there, it's that one.
But salvation in its own way, it's survival. Yeah. The problem with blacks is that they look at salvation as a process of waiting to go to heaven, despite them praying that thy kingdom come on earth as it is in heaven. Unless there's no kingdom in what we are calling to come. But if there is a kingdom, how is that kingdom? How do we see it? How do we champion the fact that it manifests here?
Now I'm saying that for as long as we continue to speak and we do not have the means of resources, it's not going to happen. So the moment, I don't know whether this is the right English, but let the one who has gold be the one that speaks more.
If he does not speak and we speak on his behalf, he must give us gold and we must do justice to the gold that we are given in order to speak.
Hence I'm saying, we are in agreement.
Yes.
I'm saying resourced people, entrepreneurs and businesses needs to come down and reteach things for this country to survive.
They need to do that. And not any entrepreneur. We need progressive entrepreneurs. Look, entrepreneurship has got a problem because blacks have made it only about profit and not about development. So entrepreneurship is useless if it feeds.
It's not development.
Yeah, it feeds a few and not ready to feed even more of the few.
I agree.
So we need to start to talk that type of language.
I agree.
Yes.
Until we change what we learn and who we learn from, the situation will remain the same.
Malcolm X describes it very easily. He says, any man who allows his children to be taught by his enemy is a fool. And maybe Africans need to start to say, am I actually cool when I take my daughter to Wits University? What is the literature of Wits University about economics that suit the dynamics of the country? We have people that come from it. There was this guy that Zuma used to employ as his economic advisor, a professor, somebody from Wits, that I don't think is still there at Wits. He said things that were opposed by other professors coming there. But when you look at the content of what he said, it was designed to develop black people and the economy.
But we need to also remember, there's a clip that circulated to say the people in power will always go and make sure that the deans of faculties at universities are pushing their struggle. For as long as in our line of politics, we are not influencing deans of faculties and curricula that is being taught, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a problem.
I remain to say there's nothing wrong with VETS. VETS must just change its curriculum to suit the narrative. Remember, remember, for an example, there was once a dean in the Faculty of Law that was fired because 800 lawyers in the first year came on board and 600 qualified. Then they said, no, you can't do that. You needed to make sure that at least 120 of them passes. But also it is a business. Remember, universities today, when you apply, you take out 200 rand, that is non-refundable. And if 1 million kids apply into your institution and you make 200 million, it's good for business. As they apply and we reject them, and they must apply in the following year, we continuously reject. So it is a system that is on its own done by somebody there, a white man there deciding to frustrate the black child.
The moment education becomes a commodity, it's no more education, it's something else. Because commodities in their nature are designed with a markup. Once you say this chair is a commodity, the person who manufactures it has a markup. So our kids are being taught as we speak, and people that are teaching our kids must make money to sustain themselves. So education is now a commodity.
The education has been allowed to become a commodity. The moment a serious country will make sure that there is no private school, there is no private hospital, everybody, every institution is to treat its citizens the same, and it cuts this illicit thing and make sure, like now, the president in Malawi has just said, from primary to university, free education. And
the president of Namibia has said the same.
Exactly. So I'm saying those are people that are progressive, and those are people that knows the importance. Now they must also say it is criminal to find a child who's not attending school.
It should be.
It should be criminal. Must be criminalized that any child who does not go to school, because that child is going to be a liability
of others
to the state.
Yeah. Not even the state, of others.
Yes.
Because that's where you start. If the state can't sustain you, then you come with issues about Swarapo. And once out Swarapo, you become a liability. Yeah. So it becomes a problem. And we need the state that intervenes where it is supposed to be intervened. Malungane, we're talking about very serious issues. Very serious issues. The Reserve Bank. Who owns a bank that borrows? Serious things that we're talking about.
That is like, for as long as you earlier spoke of, and we are going towards closing, you spoke about a meeting in Beijing,
in Brussels,
in Belgium. A meeting that went there, and each one took a cake, and this was not corrected. There was never been corrected until.
No, we still report to Brussels.
Yeah, I'm saying it was not corrected. If you look into the world map, that map it's a fake, it's a lie.
Yeah, it creates South Africa. It creates Africa to be smaller than Asia.
Exactly.
Africa is 4 times bigger than Asia,
and it has remained that way because nobody is representing the truth when it comes to these things. Until we have leaders that says, United Nations, let's firstly correct the map. Secondly, you need to pay back the money of those countries that you have enslaved.
But United Nations itself, who does it unite?
It divides people.
Sure. So institutions that were created for sake of profit and economics will continue to support the economics that they were created for.
Okay.
African unity, EU, AU, who does it represent?
Interest of these old men.
Interest
who
of
are reporting.
Now you have a president who's 92 years old who can hardly walk. When he inspects his armies, you have to limit the armies because he cannot turn around them. He's gonna fall. Now you have to limit, you make the parade a little bit smaller to accommodate a 92-year-old president. And the youth of that country are quiet.
In Cameroon. They are crazy, they are fools, just like in Zimbabwe, just like in South Africa, just like in all these countries. Fools.
Why do we make it difficult in any democracy? Why do we make it difficult? Let me start here. We impose leaders. Leaders are imposed. The ANC is imposed. Do you know that?
I know.
Yeah, it is imposed. It continues to be imposed. That's why every time a president of the ANC must report in England for him to become a legitimate president. He must report. So they are imposed. They are funded. Right? This one is worse. They bought conference to impose him. So he's now imposed. He's here. Why do we make it difficult in our own constitutions to fire a president? Why do we have to go through a process of impeaching a person that we elected? Why can't we tell that person we are tired of you, go?
That is the first thing that South Africans must do is to change the constitution.
Simple.
And when they change the constitution for right, and secondly, make sure that all the people that benefited from this apartheid, from Codesa to whatever, they get punished.
Sure.
And from there on, you will get the country right. Today, one of the things that is making towns and cities and the metros not to perform, and government departments, it's whatever the report that the Auditor General would say, there are no consequences.
There will never be consequences.
Until there are consequences, until people are being caught to book, until people are like now, as I conclude, it is ludicrous to take Hangwani's things once you don't arrest him. It's crazy. You are crazy. Take assets of Hangwani, put him in jail, and make him sing. But you can't be taking the murderers of the people that have killed, and you don't go to their masters. It's wrong.
It's wrong. But you need to have balls of steel to take that type of decision.
We need such leaders.
We need leaders that can wake up and say, right, let me call a Codesa 2. Yes. And the purpose of Codesa 3 is to deal with the constitution. I want it rewritten. Now, unfortunately, when the president says that, and it's a policy, they will run to the Constitutional Court. And the Constitutional Court wants to save their bread and butter. What do you think they will do? They will rule against this guy and say you are mad.
We said earlier that it's like who does the Constitutional Court report to? So we must start there and be able to say, listen, and let's work towards 2/3 majority of whoever that promises that he will change the constitution and make sure that,
the only guy that will change the constitution, who says will change the constitution, and he might do it, is Zuma, followed by Malema. Maybe Malema is not yet as tarnished as Zuma, but if you say Zuma must change the constitution, his first point of departure will be that I don't pay my legal services back.
But also, how do you pursue a person? It's cruelty. How do you pursue a person and want him to pay his legal services and fight him for the rest of your life once you know that you've got skeletons? They're going to come for him, Ramaphosa also.
Now I'm saying, the case of Zuma is still on. Who's paying his legal fees now?
The same people.
So let's not waste time. Let's not waste time.
Being smart or dumb, you're born in this. Bring back the Guptas in this country. Put them to jail and make them sing. For as long as you cannot get such people, you remain seen as foolish.
Our country is in the hands of criminals. Full stop.
Until then, thank you.